Generative AI isn't some fringe idea anymore. It's already inside your search engine, it's helping you write emails, it's in your creative tools. But where is all this actually headed? Because by 2026, the AI landscape is going to look completely different. So today, we're going to break down the biggest breakthroughs happening right now, and more importantly, why they matter for your work, your life, and your future. Let's dive in.
Okay, first things first, and this is really crucial. To get what's coming, we have to stop thinking about AI like it's some kind of magic. It's not. It's a tool. I mean, a ridiculously powerful and complex tool for sure, but still a tool. The real key is learning how to use it. Once you make that mental shift, everything else we're about to talk about is going to click right into place. So for this explainer, we've broken down our journey into 5 key parts. We'll kick things off with a new kind of AI literacy you're going to need. Then we'll see how AI is turning into a personal tutor for everyone. After that, we'll look at how it's joining the workforce, not just as a helper, but as an active agent. We'll touch on the super important open source revolution, and then finally, we'll get into some pretty fascinating forecasts for the next couple of years.
So, what's the number one skill you need for 2026? And spoiler alert, it's not coding and it's not complex math. It's all about generative AI literacy. It's learning how to talk to the machine. See, at its very core, generative AI is just a prediction engine. That's it. A large language model? It's just predicting the next word in a sentence. An image model is predicting the next pixel. An audio model? You guessed it, the next sound wave. If you can really grasp that one simple concept, you're halfway there. So how do you actually use this prediction engine to get what you want? Well, it's not about secret codes or magic words. It's all about structure. There's this great little framework called Tiny Crabs Write Enormous Iguanas. It's just a memorable way to think about task, context, references, evaluate, and iterate. First, you state the task. Then you give it context. You provide some examples, you evaluate what it gives you back, and then you refine your prompt and try again. It's a simple loop, but it is absolutely the key to getting great results. And for more complex jobs, you can just start adding more layers. There's another one, Ramen Saves Tragic Idiots, that helps you remember to add constraints, assign the AI a specific role, set the tone you want, and even build in a feedback mechanism. These aren't just clever tricks, they're like mental checklists to help you communicate way more effectively. Okay, now that we know how to talk to AI, let's look at one of the coolest applications, how it's totally revolutionizing learning. We're moving way beyond tools that just summarize things for us to tools that can actually teach us. And this is a perfect way to think about the difference. You've got a tool like Notebook LM, which is kind of like a digital highlighter. It's awesome at reading a document and pulling out the main ideas. But then you have something like Google's Learn Your Way, which is, well, it's more like your own private tutor. It doesn't just condense the material, it rebuilds the entire textbook just for you, acting like a complete, personalized learning engine. And look, this is not just a gimmick. The results are real and they're measurable. In studies, students who use these AI tutors actually retained 78% of the material. Compare that to 67% with traditional study methods. That 11-point difference? That's the gap between just reading something and truly understanding it. So how does it do it? What's the secret sauce? It works by taking static content, like a boring PDF, and instantly transforming it into these 5 active learning formats. It gives you clean summaries, smart flashcards that know when you need to review something. You can have interactive Q&A sessions. It'll create adaptive notes that change as you learn, and it can even whip up short video-style explanations. It turns passive reading into an active, engaging process. All right, so AI can help us learn, but what happens when we're actually on the job? Well, the next huge shift is happening in our professional lives, where AI is leveling up from a passive assistant to a truly active agent. And this is a really big deal, the difference between a chatbot and an agent. A chatbot is reactive. It just sits there and waits for your commands. An AI agent, on the other hand, is proactive. You give it a goal, and it figures out the steps, uses the tools it needs, and acts on its own to get it done. It's a partner, not just an order taker. Think about it. You tell a chatbot, find me flights to Tokyo, but you tell an agent, plan my 10-day trip to Japan for under $3,000 in May, and it comes back with the whole shebang, flights, hotels, a draft itinerary, the works. And that quote right there, it just nails it. As these AI agents get better and better at planning and acting independently, that line between a piece of software that helps you out and a digital team member that works with you, well, that line is getting very blurry very fast. What's so cool about this is how it's blowing open doors in super technical fields. Take something called vibe coding.
This is where these models can write real working code just from plain English. All of a sudden, beginners can actually build real apps, and pro developers can work like 10 times faster. Building products is no longer just for the coders.
Okay, but as these incredible tools get woven into everything we do, a huge question comes up. Who's actually in control? And this brings us to what might be one of the most important trends in this whole industry, the open source AI revolution.
Open source models like DeepSeek or Meta's Llama 3 are an absolute game changer. Yeah, they cost less, but way more importantly, they give you control. Unlike a closed black box model from a big company, you can actually look under the hood. You can tweak them for your specific needs, you avoid getting locked into one company's ecosystem, and you can audit them for transparency and safety. This is creating this whole parallel AI ecosystem, which is vital for industries like finance or healthcare that can't just hand over all their sensitive data to a third party.
All right, so let's put all the pieces together. We've got smarter ways to talk to AI, we have AI tutors, proactive agents, and this booming open source community. So, what does the world actually look like in a couple of years? This is where things get really interesting and maybe a little wild. We are talking about some major shifts on the horizon. The big industry focus is probably going to move away from this grand chase for artificial general intelligence and toward the much more practical goal of just cutting costs. Human jobs, they might pivot from creating stuff from scratch to basically validating what the AI spits out. At the same time, we're probably going to see a rise in workplace surveillance, which will spark huge legal and privacy fights. And then things get even stranger. Think synthetic identities being used to mess with court cases, or AI-generated news articles that are so good they actually win journalism awards.
And this next prediction, I mean, this one sounds like it's straight out of a sci-fi movie, but listen to this. The idea is that AI-generated content could become so perfect, so incredibly optimized, that we start to distrust anything that looks a little too polished. The line between what's real and what's fake could get so blurry that a chunk of the internet might genuinely start to believe a creator like Mr. Beast isn't even a real person. Wild, right? When you step back and look at everything, these models that understand images and sound, the drive for efficiency, these new agent systems, open source, it's all pointing in one direction. This is the moment. This is how AI stops being just a tool we use to make content and becomes a true partner for taking action in the real world. And that right there leaves us with the biggest question of all. As AI transforms from this passive tool into an active partner, we're gaining these incredible new powers. But with that power comes a ton of responsibility. So the final thought I want to leave you with is this. When AI can help us do almost anything, what actions are we going to choose?